In August 2014, the world watched as tens of thousands of people fled up a mountain in northern Iraq with nothing but the clothes on their backs. They were trapped on Mount Sinjar without food, without water, under a burning summer sun. Below them, a militant army was hunting them down with a single stated purpose: to eliminate them from the face of the earth. The international media struggled to explain who these people were. They were called devil worshippers by their persecutors. They were called a mystery by journalists. They were called a sect, a cult, a remnant. Almost every description was wrong. The Yazidi are not devil worshippers. They are not a sect of Islam. They are not a medieval invention. What they are is something far more ancient, far more complex, and far more important to the history of human civilization than most of the world has ever understood. Their religion may be the oldest continuously practiced faith tradition in the Middle East, older than Islam, older than Christianity, possibly older than Judaism. Their origins connect to the ancient Iranian world that gave the world Zoroastrianism, to the pre-Islamic religions of Mesopotamia, and to a theological tradition that shaped 3 of the world's major faiths without ever receiving credit for it. There are fewer than 700,000 Yazidi left in the world. They have survived 72 genocides by their own count, and modern scholarship is only now beginning to understand what exactly it is they have been preserving for all these centuries. The single most dangerous misconception about the Yazidi is also the oldest, that they worship the devil. This accusation has followed them for centuries and has been used to justify wave after wave of persecution, massacre, and attempted extermination. The confusion arises from a figure at the center of Yazidi theology called Tawus Melek, the Peacock Angel. In the Yazidi cosmology, Tawus Melek is the chief of 7 divine beings to whom the supreme God entrusted the world after its creation. He is the most powerful intermediary between the divine and the human. He is worshipped in the form of a peacock, and his shrines are some of the most sacred sites in Yazidi religious life. To outside observers steeped in Islamic and Christian tradition, Tawus Melek looked uncomfortably familiar. In both faiths, there is a story of a divine being who defied God and was cast out of heaven, Satan or Iblis. In the Yazidi account, Tawus Melek initially refused to bow before Adam, but was subsequently forgiven and reinstated as the chief divine being. To Muslim scholars and later Western missionaries, the parallel was close enough to generate a verdict: the Yazidi worshiped the devil. This verdict stuck. It became the justification for campaigns of forced conversion and massacre that stretched across 6 centuries of Ottoman rule and continued into the 21st century under the Islamic State. The label devil worshippers is not a theological description, it is a weapon. The actual theology of the Yazidi is nothing of the sort, but understanding it requires going much further back in time. To understand the Yazidi, you have to understand the religious landscape of the ancient Middle East before the Abrahamic faiths dominated it. Before Islam, before Christianity, before Judaism, the Iranian world was shaped by traditions centered on the cosmic struggle between light and darkness. This tradition reached its most systematic expression in Zoroastrianism, the ancient Persian faith founded by the prophet Zarathustra, which became the state religion of 3 successive Persian empires and shaped the theological vocabulary of the entire ancient world. Key concepts like the battle between good and evil and the resurrection of the dead bear unmistakable parallels to Zoroastrian theology. The Yazidi religion preserves elements of this ancient Iranian religious world that neither Zoroastrianism nor Abrahamic faiths retained. Their theology combines an ancient Iranian dualistic framework with elements of pre-Islamic Mesopotamian religion and later Sufi Islamic influences, and with an extraordinarily ancient oral tradition that has been transmitted intact across generations without a written scripture. They did not invent their religion in the 12th century. Sheikh Adi ibn Musafir did not found Yazidism. He reformed an existing tradition. He reformed and reorganized an existing tradition that was already ancient when he arrived. Genetically and linguistically, the Yazidi are a Kurdish people. They speak Kurmanji Kurdish as their primary language. Their genetic profile places them firmly within the broader Kurdish and Iranian population cluster of the northern Middle East. They are not a separate race or a biologically distinct population in any meaningful sense. It cannot be joined from outside, and leaving it means leaving the community entirely. This strict endogamy, the practice of marrying only within the group, has been maintained for centuries and is a primary reason the tradition has survived. It created a self-contained community that outsiders could not penetrate and that internal pressure could not easily fragment. The Yazidi social structure is organized around a hereditary caste system with three main divisions. The sheikhs are the religious leaders, the pirs are spiritual guides, and the murids form the lay community. These castes are strictly hereditary and cannot be changed. Marriage between castes is forbidden. The system has been remarkably stable, providing a social scaffold that survived conditions that destroyed other communities entirely. Their oral religious literature, sacred hymns called quls, preserved their theology across generations without a written scripture. This was a deliberate strategy. What is written can be destroyed. What is memorized can survive the most thorough attempt at cultural erasure. The Yazidi keep account of the times their community has been targeted for extermination. They call these campaigns firman. The number is not a precise catalog, but a count carried in communal memory, naming the accumulated weight of centuries of persecution. Under the Ottoman Empire, the Yazidi were subjected to repeated campaigns of forced conversion and massacre. Their sacred valley of Lalish was repeatedly attacked, and their population contracted toward the strongholds of Sinjar and Sheikhan. Under Saddam Hussein, the Yazidi were subjected to the Anfal campaign, which targeted Kurdish populations with chemical weapons and mass executions. Thousands were killed, their villages were destroyed, their traditional lands were redistributed to Arab settlers. In August 2014, the Islamic State launched a genocide. Sinjar was overrun, men were executed, and women and children were enslaved. Yazidi girls were subjected to systematic violence. 5,000 were killed in the initial assault. Hundreds of thousands fled. Despite this, the Yazidi people endure, holding fast to their identity and their history in the face of unimaginable tragedy. The theology of Tawas Melek, the Peacock Angel, is considerably more sophisticated than the devil worshipper accusation allows. In the Yazidi understanding, Tawas Melek is not evil and was never evil. He is the most powerful of 7 divine beings created by God. His specific role is as the active principle of divine governance in the material world. He is not opposed to God. He is God's primary agent. The peacock itself is one of the oldest symbols of divine beauty, immortality, and cosmic order in ancient Iranian and Mesopotamian iconography. The Yazidi use of the peacock connects to a visual and symbolic vocabulary that predates Islam by millennia and was shared across a wide cultural sphere. The theological concept of a divine intermediary governing the material world is structurally similar to concepts found in Zoroastrianism and Gnostic Christianity. The Yazidi did not borrow this concept. They preserved it from a shared ancient source that all of these traditions drew upon. Theological boundaries between ancient traditions were far more permeable than the later insistence on sharp religious difference admits. The Yazidi preserved something that the dominant faiths reformed away. That is not devil worship, it is archaeology. The Yazidi are sometimes described as a living museum of the ancient Middle East. The description is both apt and inadequate. They are a living community that has maintained a coherent theological and social system under conditions of extraordinary adversity. What their survival tells us is that the religious landscape of the ancient Middle East was far more diverse than the triumph of Abrahamic faiths suggest. Traditions assumed to have disappeared, the pre-Islamic Iranian religious world and Mesopotamian frameworks, did not disappear entirely. They retreated into isolated communities that the dominant cultures could not fully reach. The Yazidi are one of those communities. The Mandeans of southern Iraq, who preserve a form of Gnostic Christianity, are another, as are the Samaritans of the West Bank. These communities are the living record of a world that the standard histories of religion have largely written out of existence. Fewer than 700,000 people, 72 attempts at extermination, a religion older than Islam and Christianity, carrying within its hymns and rituals the memory of a theological world that the dominant faiths spent centuries trying to erase. The Yazidi were never what their persecutors said they were. They were the keepers of something ancient. They are still here. That alone is one of the most remarkable facts in the history of human survival. Subscribe to Hidden Origins, because every people has a story that history forgot. Drop a comment. Had you heard of the Yazidi before 2014?